and the team, the Success Academy team, for their proper guidance they have given me so far. So what is public speaking, right? Now, back in the day when I was schooling, I think I've missed so many opportunities because I did not discover that I could do public speaking, that I was into public speaking. So because of that, I've missed so many opportunities. But because of their guidance, I think I've discovered it. But right after school, I got into the corporate sector. I've been offered from one of the leading commercial banks. And once again, after a few years, once again, I've been offered from another leading commercial bank in Sri Lanka. I think that is thanks to mainly because of public speaking. So while I was working in the corporate sector, I got to know that I could do this, right? So currently I'm working as a banker, and at the same time, I'm an MC. If you don't know who an MC is, I'm a compeer. And if you don't know who a compeer is, don't worry. I'm an event host, right? So I do host events. I do host weddings, whatever, like the birthday parties, corporate events, award ceremonies. So any sorts of events I do compare, I do host. So that is thanks to public speaking. And I want to mention this thing. So I know all of us wants to start a business. Any sorts of business. I know some of you maybe wants to start restaurants, a coffee shop, maybe like a clothing brand, and even like a photography business. For anything, you need that initial capital. But what I personally feel is like many of us, like the majority doesn't have that luxury on spending an initial amount, like a capital payment for any of these business ideas. But by doing public speaking, by doing this myself, I've started my own business. So now I go by the name of Host Lennox. So anyway, my business is in the initial stages, but I have done so many events so far. Thanks to public speaking, thanks to that, I've discovered this talent. So for that, I have to give the credit to the Shashan and the team. What I want to tell you is, discover whether you any sorts of talent. I'm not specially mentioning public speaking, but any sorts of talent, if you have, just discover it. But especially mentioning public speaking, if you do public speaking, just go for those Toastmasters clubs or whatever. Just get that exposure. That will help you in the long run. This is one of my personal messages. I don't know whether Shashan will post this because it's already 3 minutes long. So if you're looking for an MC, like an event host for your event, call me on 0766 788 935. So once again, I'll repeat my number. It's 0766 788 935. So hope you have a great day.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hope you are all doing well. A very good evening to all of you. Now, when I sent my first video to the group, I asked you, or I reminded you one very important thing, and that is to switch on your cameras. So to all of you who have switched on your cameras, that's very nice. Lovely to see. I'm seeing a lot of beautiful faces. Amarasiri, nice to see you. Fazrina, how are you? Nishan, how's it going? Super. I see a lot of faces. Dinisha, Hasini, Jamita, Rifna. Great. Abdul, Rosanna. Fantastic. Guys, I'm seeing a lot of faces. Lovely to see. Fantastic to see. Now, before I give you an introduction about what we are going to do today, I just want to touch base on what you just saw. So Shenal was one of our first students. He actually went to school with me. And when he got out of school, I mean, he was not someone that was fluent in English. He studied in Sinhala medium all the way up to A-levels. He was a decent speaker in Sinhala, but being a compeer in English was not something that was on his radar. But because he was competent as a Sinhala speaker, I told him, look, why don't you get into English public speaking as well? Why don't you get into the MC space? Why don't you become an event host? And he was skeptical about it at first, but with the right training, today, he's doing much better as an event host than he is working in the bank. And his goal is to, by next year, quit his job in the bank and do MCing full time, right? So he was one of our first students. Actually, when I started public speaking classes, I didn't have many students. to enroll. I didn't have a lot of students in my classes. So I used to call my friends, my family, and say, hey, why don't you guys join? So I built up a student base. And he was actually one of the first students that signed up. And I'm very proud, I'm very glad that he is where he is today. Guys, don't start by drawing on my screen. That's, bad start to the webinar. All right, good. So I'm very happy to have you all here today. Let me just start off by getting some of you to introduce yourselves and give me an idea as to why you are here. Now, obviously, the obvious reason as to why you're here is to learn how to speak in public. But I would like to know why. What is your motive? What is your drive? What is your purpose? Do you want to go abroad? Do you want to do better in your workplace? Are you a teacher? Do you want to be able to speak in front of 100, 200 people or students and deliver a good presentation? What is the reason that you are here? Let me speak to one or two of you. You can unmute yourself and then I'll get the others to drop a message on the chat box. Fazrina, you're the first face that I'm seeing here. So why don't you unmute yourself and give me a small introduction about yourself?
Hi, I'm Fazrina and I'm from Kerala. I actually come from an English medium background, but when I speak to public, I get stuck. And currently I'm doing TEFL, so I just want to practice this to talk to my students and also my kids. I have 2 kids, so I have to practice them as well to speak confidently in the public. And
You said you're a teacher. What subject do you teach?
no, currently I am following TEFL.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So you plan to be an English teacher?
Yeah, yes.
All right, fantastic. Nice to have you here with us, Fazrina. So by the end of this session, you'll get an idea of how to improve yourself and be a better speaker. All right?
Yes, sure.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Let me speak to one more person. Whose face can I see? Abdul, how are you? Good evening.
Good evening.
Give me a
Hi,
bit
sir.
of background about yourself, Abdul. How are you?
I am Abdul Rahman. I am coming from Negombo. I am from Tamil medium background. I am following ACC and BSc in Applied Accounting degree. I want to improve my English speaking. Want to give presentation also now in degree also. I want to improve my English. That's why I came to join this
You
project.
seem to be speaking English quite well. It's just that you need to maybe brush up and become more confident when speaking in front of a crowd. Yes?
Yeah, yes.
Fantastic. Don't think you're not good in English because you seem to be speaking quite well. Nice to have you with us, Abdul. Hopefully you gain something valuable by the end of the webinar today. All right?
Yes.
Super. Yes, Mahendra, I see you have raised your hand. You can give an introduction about yourself. Okay, Mahendra's audio seems to be connecting. In the meantime, let me look at another face here. Amarasiri, how are you?
Hello.
You need to unmute yourself. You're on mute.
Huh?
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay, I'm Marasiri. I'm a teacher. I'm teaching science. I expect to improve my English and try to become more confident in speaking, and also to gain more skills in speaking.
Fantastic. You teach science for English medium?
Yes.
O-level science or?
O-levels, yes.
Oh, nice. Do you teach in a school?
Yes.
What's the school?
This is a ladies' college. It's Sujata Vidyalaya.
Sujata Vidyalaya. Oh, very nice. Do you do private tuition as well?
As well, yes.
Fantastic. Nice to have you here with us, Amarasiri. I hope that you get something valuable from the webinar today.
Yes.
All right, great. Guys, can you drop a message? Obviously, I can't speak to everyone individually. That would take up an insane amount of time. So why don't you all drop a quick message on the chat box as to what your goal is, what your purpose is. Why are you here on this webinar today to learn public speaking? Do you want to go abroad? Do you want to speak better? Do you want to deliver better presentations? Do you think that public speaking overall enhances your personality? Why are you here? Drop a message on the chat box very fast so I can have a look at it before we move on. Okay. I want to brush up my fluency, says Fatima. Okay. Public speaking is my passion, says someone else. I own a business. I want to improve my speaking skills. I want to face an interview. Planning to do IELTS. Okay, some of you are planning to do IELTS. That's great. Need to give better presentations. Wow, someone says, I want to become a motivational speaker. That is fantastic. That is brilliant. To speak better in order to get fluency, to enhance my personality. Okay, great. I want to speak confidently in front of the trainees. All right, good. Fantastic. I love it. I love to see the reason as to why you're here, because this reason is what is going to keep you motivated to keep practicing and become better at what you are doing. Because most of the time, we all think, okay, you see an ad on Facebook and you think to yourself, I want to learn public speaking. And you join our WhatsApp group and you come for this webinar. And by tomorrow, you have lost your motivation, right? But if you keep in mind why you are doing what you're doing, to become a motivational speaker, to speak better in front of trainees, to build up your personality, to give better presentations, whatever it is, if you know why you are working hard, or if you know why you are here, you'll be much more motivated to keep practicing, to keep working hard to achieve your goal. So I'm glad there's so many comments coming in. That is fantastic. All right, great. So let me start off by telling you the purpose of today's webinar. The objective or the purpose of today's webinar is to show you the 5 biggest mistakes that are keeping you from becoming a confident speaker. And I'm also going to give you some solutions on how to fix these problems in the span of about 4 months. All right. Why do I say 4 months? Because obviously I can say, okay, by the end of these 2 hours, you'll become the most confident speaker in the world. That's not possible, right? Because in order to become a better speaker, you need to practice. You need to speak. There is no point in you watching this lecture and then thinking to yourself that now, because I got all these tips from Shashank, I'm a great speaker. Impossible. It's a lie. It's a scam. It's not going to work, right? But in 4 months, if you do what I tell you to do, if you follow the process, if you follow the step-by-step framework that I have put together, I guarantee, without a shred of a doubt, that you will become a very confident speaker. All right. Okay. For some of you, or for most of you, what does learning how to speak in public get you? Now, you already know the reason to this. That is what you have posted in the comment section. But let me outline a few things that are common to almost everybody. Number one, it's going to help level up your income. And to me, that is one of the most lucrative things that I can give to you. Because if I look at Shenal, the first testimonial that I played, Shenal was working a 9-to-5 job. He was working in a bank. He was getting a very basic salary. But simply by learning how to speak well, he built up an entirely different pathway for himself, an entirely different income stream for himself. Now, did that only benefit him as doing a part-time job? No. Even in his actual job in the bank, he started getting promotions. He was not afraid to go for interviews. He was not afraid to take up company comparing gigs. He was not afraid to lead a team. He became more confident as a speaker, and as a result, he started getting more promotions. His salary started to go up. So not only can learning how to speak well build you a side income, it can also help you in whatever dream you are trying to pursue, in whatever job that you are in. It will help you build a high net worth network. I'll give you an example from my classes itself. People that join our 4-month program are usually doctors, lawyers, engineers, businessmen, entrepreneurs, people in top level, CEOs, directors of companies. We have a great network of people. Even if you go to a Toastmasters club, provided that you go to an actual reputed, well-functioning Toastmasters club, like the Colombo Toastmasters Club, you would get to meet a group of people that is functioning in the top level. And by building this network, you can build up a lot of opportunities for yourself. And having this network, I mean, in Sri Lanka, if you think about it, it's always about the people you know. If you know the right people, it's very easy to get jobs, interviews, new opportunities, and so on, right? So building a high net worth network is something you can do for yourself if you learn how to speak well. This is a big one. And I see some of you, I think about 6 or 7 comments I read of people saying, I just want to learn how to face interviews better. When you go for an interview, what do most people do? They go, yeah, so my experience, it's done. Nobody's going to hire you. All that requires is your ability, is your confidence to speak in front of that interview panel without getting stuck. The ability to talk about your story, the ability to talk about your skills, your experience without getting stuck. Some of you have said, I want to deliver presentations better in university, at work, in sales meetings, corporate client pitches, whatever it is. You get that confidence to do your presentations, to deliver your presentations in a better way. If you're into sales, if you're running a business, or if you want to go to the top of the corporate world, you want to become a director, a CEO, a senior manager, if you're going to lead a group of people, then you need to know how to speak well. If you look at any top corporate individual, they are very good at motivating a team. They are very good at talking to people. They are very good at speaking in front of a crowd, and they are not scared. They are not afraid to put out their thoughts, to put out their message across to a group of people. And the best part about signing up to our 4-month program is you get to become a qualified diploma holder, because we offer a diploma from a recognized institute that you can show as a qualification of your ability to be a confident speaker. All right. So I'll give you more information about this later. Guys, I see some of you drawing on my screen. Please don't do that. It's very annoying and it's very unprofessional. All right. Appreciate if you could stop. All right. Moving on. Let me give you a quick introduction about myself. I'm Shashan Dias. You can call me sir. You can call me Shashan, whichever you are comfortable with. All right. Now, when I first started off, I was obviously not, nobody is born a confident speaker. Nobody. Nobody just wakes up in the morning and thinks to themselves, hey, today I'm going to be a confident speaker. And then suddenly their speaking skills become exceptional. That does not happen. Just like all of you, I was not the most confident speaker. I used to get nervous. I used to get tongue-tied. Actually, one story that I remember when I say this is when I had to deliver the prayers of the faithful in church. I was in grade 4 or 5. I was very young at that time. And I don't know how, I'm assuming some of you are Catholics. There might be Muslims, there might be Buddhists, Hindus here. But the Catholics know what I'm talking about. We have this thing in church during the Mass called prayers of the faithful. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to get on top of the altar and you have to sing it in, you have to say it rather in likely a sing-song voice. Okay. And I got on the altar and I was saying it. And so the pianist had to play the piano while I was saying it. And he just stopped playing and stared at me because I was singing it so off pitch. It was horrible. Even the father, the priest who was sitting there, was looking at me thinking, what is he doing? About 2 prayers in, I got stuck. I knew I was doing a really bad job. I saw everyone staring at me. I got so nervous. I was small. I just walked off. I started crying and I walked off. It was one of the most embarrassing experiences of my life. But thank God, my parents never said, hey, you were bad, you were terrible. They just said, hey, don't worry about it. Let's just try again and again and again. But I was obviously very scared. I was embarrassed. And I had a very tough time getting up on stage in front of people. Never in my life did I think that I would build a career of public speaking. But then something amazing happened, which is my mother dragged me by the ear and entered me into theater, right? I still remember I was in grade 9 and they had called for auditions for a school play. I think it was for the inter-school Shakespeare drama competition. And they had called auditions and I was obviously not very interested. But my mother found out and she said, you're going. And I said, no. I said, I'm playing sports. I'm very happy. I'm doing extracurriculars. I don't want to do drama, right? But obviously my mother was a very adamant woman. And so she dragged me by the ear and she put me into theater. And that, my friends, my students, was probably the best decision my parents have ever made in their entire lives. Because theater completely transformed my life. My fear of speaking in front of an audience completely vanished because year after year, I was getting up on stage in front of 600, 700, 800 people and doing things that would make most people extremely uncomfortable. I mean, look at these costumes, look at these actions that we are doing here. These would make most people, any general person, very uncomfortable. But we were doing this year on year on year on year, right? And I started to love theater, even up to date. Now, this was from a play that we did last year. So aside from my corporate job, aside from being a teacher, I also love to get on stage and act. And this was one of the most amazing, amazing experiences that I have ever had in my entire lives, right? And so once I left school, I was obviously a lot more confident now to speak in front of people, to be in front of a camera. And I knew that I had a good ability to speak. So my first job was that I started becoming a news presenter on a very popular radio channel. I'm assuming some of you would have heard of it, Gold FM. The younger crowd here probably don't know. You all listen to, I don't know, Sun FM or YFM or more modern radio channels. Some of you don't even listen to radio. But I'm sure the older crowd knows what I'm talking about. Gold FM, Sri Lanka's claimed #1 radio channel, right? Old is gold, as they say. And I started working as a news presenter for Gold FM. So this is where I got my first entrance into being a professional public speaker. And people loved my news reading. So this gave me a lot of confidence to grow as a speaker. And through Gold FM, I started getting a lot of opportunities to compare events, to be a show host, to start my own channel on social media. So I started to grow as a speaker and I started comparing events, like I said. So I started doing birthday parties, I started doing corporate events, I started comparing any event that came my way to build up my confidence of speaking in front of an audience. And I started getting more and more events. And even today, comparing is a big part of what I do. Being a show host, being an event host is a big part of what I do. All right. Then I started getting into corporate training. I started training people in companies. I started training individuals such as yourself. I started training students, university students on how to become better speakers. And today I have started my own company. I run a company called the Success Academy, where we do IELTS training, spoken English training, and public speaking training. So just to give you a quick background on my journey of starting the company, rather, we started off doing spoken English training. And during COVID, we realized there were so many people going abroad and so many people were finding it tough to face the IELTS exam. There were students who were calling us and saying they're being scammed by institutions. There are teachers who are not giving them what they promised. And so we were seeing a big gap in the market. And so we started doing IELTS training. In just 2 years, we were able to help 300 plus students get band 7+ scores at their IELTS exam and successfully go to foreign countries. This was a great achievement for us because we were able to transform the lives of so many people that were struggling with English, so many people that were struggling to face the IELTS exam, got a huge boost because they were able to successfully face the IELTS exam and go to the foreign country that they had been dreaming of going to. So then we started public speaking training. Mainly, I was doing this for corporate professionals, but recently we opened it up to everybody. So we partnered up with an institution called the International Institute of Mystical Rose, and we started offering a diploma for those who were interested in learning how to speak confidently in front of an audience. One more thing that I want to highlight is this is not what I do full time. All right. Aside from being a public speaking trainer, aside from being an IELTS trainer, aside from running my own company, I also work as the head of operations for a cybersecurity company called Better Cyber Career. So I work in the corporate sector as well. And that gives me a unique opportunity to understand what people in the corporate sector are struggling with. We do so many interviews per month where people come to the interview and they simply don't know what to say. They get stuck. They say, and they don't know what to say. They get stuck. They can't speak. They're not confident. And it's a big problem because when we hire, one of the biggest issues we focus on, or one of the biggest indications we focus on, is how good you are at communicating what you do. Now, sometimes even if you're very talented technically, if you are unable to communicate what you're capable of doing, it's tough. The chances of you getting hired are very low, right? So being in the corporate sector gives me a unique understanding of what I need to focus on when it comes to my teaching. A quick run through of my qualifications. I have a bachelor's in business management from Cardiff Met, and I have my licentiate in public speaking along with my associate in public speaking from the Trinity College, London. My licentiate is from the University of West London, and I'm also TEFL qualified. So not only am I someone that is doing what I'm preaching practically, I'm not just a teacher. I practice everything I do. I compare events, I host events. I do public speaking practically. I've been a radio host for some time. All right. And I also work in the corporate sector. Aside from practically doing what I preach, I'm also qualified. So I'm not just talking only from experience. I'm also talking from a theoretical background as well. All right. So I hope that gives you enough to understand about what I do. Let me give you a quick rundown of my 4-month coaching program. We give you a step-by-step guide on how you can go from saying and scratching your head and losing your voice to speaking confidently in front of any audience. Now, if that is something that you are looking to build up for yourself, this coaching program is for you. We also have a good community of people. Like I said, we have a good network of people that we deal with, that we do coaching for. So if you're looking for new opportunities, if you're looking to get into the public speaking space, we have a fantastic network that you can interact with. All right. We also give you direct coaching. In my classes, I always get you to send me videos. I always get you to send me recordings. Each and every recording gets a personal feedback. All my students up to date have always got personal feedback from me. All right. And we also give you a recognized qualification. Like I said, I'll give you more information about this at the end, from a ministry approved awarding body. We offer a diploma from a ministry, from a foreign ministry approved awarding body. We'll give you more information on this later, but I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of our 4-month program because, like I said, public speaking or the ability to speak fluently is not something you build in a day, in 2 hours. It's something you build up over a period of time. Makes sense? So for those of you that stay till the very end, I'll also be giving you a free public speaking mastery book. You can go through this as well when you have some free time to get an understanding of what you need to do to become a confident speaker. All right. Okay. So now who is this for? This is for all of you. All right. Because when I told you why you are here, or to comment why you are here, you posted your aims, your goals. I see a lot of them still coming, right? Oh, someone says, I love listening to your news reading. That's fantastic. So I see a lot of you have said, I want to improve my English knowledge. I want to improve my public speaking skills. I want to be a good speaker. I want to learn how to speak confidently in front of my employees. I see a lot of these reasons. This is for anyone that gets nervous when you speak in front of a crowd. Can you say yes in the chat box? If you're someone who can speak English, but you feel nervous when you see a crowd, can you say yes? Just say yes on the chat box. I feel nervous. Right. Great. I'm seeing a lot of yeses. This is for professionals who want to communicate with more confidence in meetings, presentations, interviews. This is most of you right here. Most of you are either corporate leaders or you're just getting into corporate and you want to face interviews, you want to speak at a meeting, but you are just not confident. You get nervous. This is for students who are in school, who are in university, who want to deliver presentation, who want to speak with anyone, anywhere, at any time without getting stuck. This is also for people who are looking to build a career in public speaking. So this is for people that want to get a qualification and that want to build up a career for themselves in public speaking. If you want to become a show host, an MC, a radio presenter, a TV presenter, a teacher, this webinar is for you. All right. So are you ready? Are you ready to get this started? Because now we are going into the actual lesson. All right. Drop me a quick yes if you are ready. Someone says ready. That's great. Yes, yes, yes. Great, great, great. I'm getting a lot of yeses. Guys, don't request to record the session. The record is being session from my end. All right. So I'll share the recording with you after the class is done. Okay. All right, great. I'm seeing a lot of enthusiasm. This is great. Now, guys, what is public speaking? Okay, before I go here, let me ask somebody. Let me unmute. Okay. Rifna. Ah, hi, Rifna. I remember you. You were part of Mystical Rose at one point. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Good, good. Not too bad. Rifna, can you tell me what is public speaking?
Public speaking is a message we deliver for a group of people confidently.
Correct. You mentioned a very important word, a message that you are trying to deliver to a group of people. The word message is very important because every time we speak to an audience, the audience needs to have something to take away. Therefore, whenever we are speaking, if I'm teaching a class, if I'm giving a presentation, if I'm giving a speech, I need to have a clear message that I'm putting across to the audience. Now, there are some objectives when trying to speak to an audience. What are these objectives? You need to either inform the audience about something. That is what I am doing here today. I am informing you of how to become a good public speaker. We can also entertain an audience. Think of someone like Gehan Block and Dino Correa, Block and Dino. They are mainly to entertain an audience. Yes, they are giving out a great message, but mainly they want to make people laugh. You could also persuade an audience. Now that I will be doing that today. I will be persuading you to stop being nervous, to stop being shy, and learn to become better speakers, right? Or you could demonstrate something to an audience. Now, look at this slide deck, for example. I am demonstrating something to you. But my main objective today is to inform you of how to become a good public speaker. All right. So public speaking, in a very small definition, is delivering a message to a group of people to inform, entertain, persuade, or demonstrate an idea to them. Right? That is why you are all here today, to learn how to deliver a message effectively. All right. So the most important thing is that your audience should understand your message and take some positive action regarding it. Think about this session I'm conducting today. What is my main purpose? Number one, it's that you should understand why it is important to become a good speaker. And if you start practicing to become a good speaker from today, I would have achieved my purpose. I would have achieved my target. When Amarasiri is teaching a class, Amarasiri, when you're teaching your science class, what is the outcome of that class? It's that your students go and get an A at the O-level exam. Am I right? You want your students to go and get an A pass at the O-level exam. Yes? Right? Every time you speak, every time you communicate with your students, that is what you expect, that they learn what you are trying to teach and they take action regarding it. They go home and study, they do their exams well. If you're a sales, let's say a manager of sales or sales manager, if you're motivating your team, if you're delivering trainings to your team, what is your outcome? That your sales revenue is going to increase, that your sales coordinators, people who are doing sales for you, are going to make bigger and better sales, right? Similarly, whenever you speak to an audience, if they take action regarding your message, that means you have been successful. Make sense? So the group of people you're speaking to should understand your message and take some action regarding it. Now, usually there are three things that create a good speaker, that create a good speech. We'll discuss what those are. Number one is called ethos. What is ethos? All right. Think about what I did when I started off this webinar. Okay. Number one, I played a testimonial. Right. Now I immediately showed you what our program has done, what I am capable of doing by transforming the life of someone else. That was the first thing I did. Second thing was I introduced myself as someone that is practically doing what I am preaching and also as someone that is qualified. Now, what did that do? That created an image in your head that, oh, okay, this person is not just a teacher. He's someone who is an actual public speaker. He's a presenter. He's a compeer, right? And he has done trainings that has transformed the lives of his students. So what is ethos? Ethos is credibility. Without credibility, you will not listen to me. Why should you listen to me if I don't have credibility? If I can't speak, now imagine I started this webinar and I started talking to you like this about, how to become, a good speaker. Would you listen to me? Would you stay? I don't think so. It's simply because I built up my credibility at the very start that you're going to stay an hour, 2 hours with me today to see if you can learn something from me. Otherwise, you will not stay. Because none of you know who I am. Right? Let's say, okay, Mahinder, before he came to this webinar today, had no idea who Shashan Dias is. So I had to build up my credibility at the very start so that you would stay with me for 2 hours. Credibility or ethos, think of it like this. Imagine you are going to a finance convention. You're going to learn how to invest your money. You're going to learn how to earn more money, become wealthy. The first speaker of the day is Mr. Dhammika Pereira. The second speaker of the day is, let's say Shashan Dias. Okay. Abdul, whose speech are you going to listen to more? Abdul?
Yes, I am going to listen to Dhammika Pereira's speech.
Exactly. You would be out of your mind to not listen to Dhammika Perera. Why? Because Dhammika Perera is the richest man in the country. Nobody has more credibility than Dhammika to talk about how to make money. Am I right? Nobody. No other businessman, except for the people operating at his echelon. No one in the smaller scale can talk about how to make money better than Mr. Dhammika Perera. So what does Dhammika have that we don't have? Credibility. Does that make sense? So if you are trying to be a good speaker, think about it like this. You are most confident in speaking about things that you have learned, that you have knowledge of. And that knowledge is what gives you credibility. If you have practically applied that knowledge, that gives you credibility. You listen to me about public speaking because I am a public speaker. You would never take advice from me about how to invest your money, because if you do, you will go bankrupt. Right? So credibility is very important when it comes to speaking to an audience. If you're delivering a presentation, if you're speaking to an investor, if you're speaking to a client, if you're speaking to a supplier, your credibility is important, right? Your credibility is important. So how do you build up that credibility? You either get qualifications, you either build up experience in a particular field, or you study now, as if you're doing a degree or you're doing a master's, you're building up the knowledge base to build up credibility for yourself to speak about a specific topic. Make sense? So before you go to speak about something, make sure you have the right education, make sure you have the right knowledge, make sure that you are well prepared and you have got that credibility that is needed so that the audience respects you and takes you seriously. Make sense? This is very important when you're speaking to a large group of people. Second one is called pathos. What is pathos? What have I been doing on this webinar? Again, from the moment that I started, I have told you a couple of stories. I told you about the time that I struggled to speak in front of an audience. I told you the time about when my mother dragged me to do theater. You would have all thought back to your own childhood and thought, hey, there was a time that I struggled to speak in front of an audience. I still struggle to speak in front of an audience. There was a time when my parents also used to drag me by the ear and get me to do things. So what is pathos? It's creating an emotional connection with your audience. When you tell people stories, people are more likely to respond to you. People are more likely to listen to you. People are more likely to understand what you are saying. If you can tell a good story, more or less you can convince people to do anything. Who are the best storytellers in the world? Who are the best storytellers in the world? Let me ask someone that I haven't spoken to. Sidel, is that how I say your name? Sidel, who are the best storytellers in the world?
Politicians.
Correct. Who said that? Who was that? Can you say your name? Who was it?
Asha.
Asha. Okay. All right. Well done. That's the correct answer. The best storytellers in the world are politicians, right? Look back. Okay, look back to how Gotabaya Rajapaksa came into power. Okay. We, or rather the people of the country, they chased away the Rajapaksha family after Mahinda was in power. And they brought one of the most useless presidents we have ever had, right? Which was Mr. Sirisena, right? And from that, now we, as a country, we chased away the Rajapakshas. But look how they changed the story to come back. They started doing marketing campaigns. They started doing different advertisements that said, we were the ones that finished the war. If you want a safer country, if you want to live in peace, you need to bring us back. And what happened? They came back. That is how you spin the story. Look at Trump, Donald Trump. Donald Trump was impeached twice. And then they also brought one of the most useless presidents ever. And look at how Trump came back. Before Trump came into power a second time, there were so many lawsuits against him. But he won the election. Why? How? Nobody tells stories like Donald Trump, right? Look at all our Sri Lankan politicians. Every time you meet someone, people are scolding the politicians. They do this, they are corrupt, they are whatever. And every time they get votes. How? Politicians always know how to weave a good story. So if you all want to learn how to become a good speaker, just listen to a couple of parliamentary debates and you don't even have to go for a class after that. Right? But what do? What do that is different to everyone else? They tell stories. They create an emotional connection with an audience. They talk to hundreds of thousands of people and they can get that audience to feel something, feel encouraged, feel ready to vote for them. You look at any political rally, people are screaming, shouting, laughing at all the jokes, not because they are afraid of these politicians, not necessarily, but because they actually speak well in those meetings, because they tell stories. Do you understand what I mean? So whenever you tell good stories, whenever you can bring in some good examples, the chances of people connecting with you, resonating with you are very high. Whenever you do a school presentation, university presentation, whenever you speak in front of a crowd, let's say you're delivering a toast at a wedding, maybe you have to deliver a farewell speech, maybe you have to speak in front of an audience at some event, always tell a good story, bring in a proper example, and people will always connect with you. Does that make sense? So credibility is number one. You build up good credibility for yourself. You build up a good knowledge base for yourself. Number two is you learn how to tell stories. You emotionally connect with your audience. And the final thing is called logos. Jamita, I see you're paying attention. Very good. Can you guess or do you know what logos means? Think of it logically as a speech. You have credibility as a speaker. You're telling stories. What are you missing? Jamita, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
What do you think logos means?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. I think
Numbers.
Numbers, yes, numbers are a part of it, but what logos means is your logical reason, your facts, your figures, right? Not necessarily numbers, but any fact, any figure that you bring in to support your idea is called logos. Does that make sense? So that is what a speech would need to be successful, right? If you have a good speaker, if you have someone with a lot of knowledge who knows what they are talking about, and if they're telling good stories, creating this emotional bond with the audience, and supporting his stories with facts and figures, now you have the three things you need to deliver a fantastic speech. Does that make sense? All right. So pathos, logos, and ethos. Ethos, logos, pathos are the three things that you need to be a confident, credible speaker. All right. Guys, there are so many studies that have said that public speaking and presentation skills are phenomenal, are essential to go up in the corporate world. If you know how to speak well, I mean, think about it. If you have two people at the same technical skill level, you have two software engineers, let's say, same tech level, but one of them can speak really well. Who do you think is going to climb the corporate ladder? It's obviously the person with the better speaking skill, because the tech skill is the same. Anybody can learn the tech. Anybody can learn, well, in varying degrees, obviously, but generally you can learn technical skills. If you learn how to speak well, that is what will differentiate you from everyone else. Right? There are hundreds, 200, thousands of people that complete degrees in business management. There are thousands of people who do software engineering degrees. There are thousands of people who do degrees in finance. But how many of them are landing good jobs and moving up in the corporate space? 99% of the time, or rather 95% of the time, according to Cambridge, it's people who can communicate well. You would have seen this in your own personal life. Yes, you would have seen that people with good communication skills have a bigger tendency to move up the corporate ladder. Forget the corporate ladder. If you're trying to build your own business, you need to be able to sell your product. You need to be able to sell your service. If you can't speak, communicate, network, get to know people, and sell your product, get on social media and present, you're going to have a tough time selling it. You're going to have a tough time making money, right? So learning how to communicate well is going to solve all these problems for you. All right. Okay. So today I'm going to teach you how to structure a good speech. Now, first of all, we learned the three things that you need to have to make your speech successful, to make your speech good. You need to have credibility as a speaker, you need to have stories, and you need to have facts and figures to support it. Now, I'm going to teach you how to structure this information when you get on stage and you have to speak in front of an audience. And that is why I have put the picture of one of the best speakers in the world right now, Donald Trump. Right? He says the craziest things, but whatever said and done, he knows how to capture the attention of the audience. All right, here's the structure of the speech. Let me ask someone before I show you. Ahan, how are you? Everyone, when they get called on, looks a little surprised. Oh my God, he called me. Ahan, how are you? Good evening. Can you hear me? You're on mute. What's happening? Okay, are you unable to unmute? Okay, fine. Let me look at someone else. Ruan, how are you? Ruan, you're also on mute, my friend. You have to unmute.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. So, good evening, sir.
Good
So,
evening.
thing
How
is,
are you?
I think we have to structure the speech basically in three stages. First is we have to do some sort of introduction, then the main text what we need to explain, and other thing is the summary of the speech. So we have to do like that.
Absolutely. You need to have an introduction, you need to have a body, and you need to have a conclusion. When do you greet the audience? Is it before or after your introduction?
So before the introduction, I think we have to do a greeting.
Okay, good. Well done, Ruan. Nice. Thank you for unmuting yourself and having that conversation with me. All right, guys, keep in mind now the structure that I'm going to teach you is a structure that you can follow for any speech that you are going to deliver. It could be a wedding toast, it could be a presentation, it could be anything that you do in front of a crowd, right? First of all, you need an introduction. Then you greet your audience. Then you go into your body. And finally, you go into your conclusion. Now, most people how do they start speeches? I remember when I was in school, every week, maybe every 2 weeks, we used to have a school assembly, right? Some of you who are teachers in schools can really relate to what I'm saying. And some of you that are just out of school or maybe in your 30s, early 30s, might remember what I'm talking about. Every school assembly, the principal would get on stage and they would start the speech in the exact same way. A very good morning, dear teachers, fathers, sisters, members of the non-tutorial staff, and my dear boys. That is how our principal has started every single speech from the time I was in grade 1 to the time I left school. That's why I have it at the top of my head. And every time he would say that, we used to do this game. We used to have a bet to see whether we could give an exact time as to when our principal's speech was going to end. So we used to on our stopwatch and we used to take bets. Someone would say 25 minutes, someone would say 40 minutes, 30 minutes. Whoever wins, everyone else has to buy him a kiri packet or a rice packet during the interval. Right? But listening to that speech was torture. All right, because it was very boring. It started off the same way. The principal used to give us so much advice throughout that entire speech, and it was not something we really enjoyed listening to, right? But as I went out of school and I started comparing events, I started meeting a lot of interesting speakers. There was this one speaker. I was at an auto show event, and there was a speaker called Mr. Rohan Palletan. I don't know if you know who he is. He apparently has created the sensor for the airbag in vehicles, right? So apparently he has a patent for that, and he's the sole manufacturer for sensors for airbags in vehicles, right? Very rich businessman. I think at one point he tried running for politics as well in Sri Lanka. Anyway, when he got on stage, so I introduced him and he got on stage and he walked up with a guitar. Now, there were ministers at this event, all top CEOs, directors, and so on. And he had a guitar. And I was thinking, what is he going to do? Is he going to give a speech or is he going to sing a song? He started singing a song, right? Everybody who was distracted, who were on their phones, who were talking to people, everybody stopped what they were doing and looked at this person on stage. His singing skills weren't that great, right? But he sang his song, he stopped, and he said, "Now do I have everyone's attention?" It was brilliant. After that point, people would have listened to whatever he said because he started off in such an interesting way. What is my lesson from this? It's not that every time you have to give a speech, take a guitar and go and sing, because that's not going to end well. All right, that's not going to end well. But the point is, you need to start off with an interesting hook. You need to start off by saying something that takes the audience by surprise. And that is why your introduction comes first. After you catch the attention of the audience, then you can greet the audience, right? Because the audience, I mean, think about what you guys were doing, right? You guys, when you joined the webinar, you were waiting for me to come. And when I came and started talking, in that first 10 to 15 seconds, you gauged, am I going to stay for this entire 2 hours or am I going to leave? Now, whoever decided to stay, you stayed because you judged me at those first 10 seconds and you decided that I was worthy of your time. That's the only reason you stayed. If not, you would have left. Clear? And that happens with any speaker on any platform, whether it's social media, whether it's live, whatever it is. We judge a person in the first 10 to 15 seconds. And if that speaker doesn't catch the attention of the audience, they fail their speech. So coming and saying good morning to the audience is polite, but it's not going to help you retain the audience. You have to first get their attention and then you greet them. Clear? Then you go into your body and your conclusion. All right. When you go into the introduction of a speech, there are a few things that you can do to deliver a great introduction. Number one, you can start off by delivering a quote. What is a quote? Azra, I see you're very attentively listening. Can you tell me what a quote is, hopefully with an example?
Hi, sir. A lioness will never get tired to hunt for its gang.
Wow.
So no, I think you got what Teresa got.
Absolutely.
Am I right, well?
Very nice. I love that. It's like you had it on the top of your head. It's like you were prepared. Shashank's going to ask me this, so let me deliver a fantastic quote. Well done. Good job. That is exactly what a quote is. A quote is a popular saying. When you start off with a popular saying, people are taken by surprise because everyone is expecting you to get on stage and say good morning and greet the audience. The moment you get on stage and say something different, especially when you give them something to think about, now they're interested in what you have to say. So Azra gave a very nice quote. She said, a lioness is never lazy to hunt for her pack. Right? I think that's what you said. Very nice. That's going to get the attention of the audience the moment you start your speech. Because people are thinking, whoa, what is she going to talk about? She's talking about a lioness. She's talking about a pack. What is she going to talk about? Now, people are interested. Clear? So that is a quote. A quote is a very safe way to start a speech and engage the audience. Very low risk because all you're doing is you're delivering something that is popular. You're delivering a line that is famous. So you can't go wrong, right? And you get the audience to think. You get the audience hooked on what you are going to say. So a quote is a very safe but powerful way to start a speech. Number two is a short story. We call this an anecdote, right? So an anecdote is a short story, maybe an example, maybe an experience from your personal life that you can use to connect to your speech. So the moment you start off with a story and the moment you say, once I was doing this, people are more likely to listen. Why? We love listening to stories. Throughout my entire speech today, throughout my entire presentation today, most of you are going to forget what I said by tomorrow. But the chances of you remembering some of my stories are very high. You'll remember that joke. Who are the best speakers in the country or in the world? It's politicians. You'll probably remember my story about how Gotabaya came back into power. You'll remember some of the stories I said about Trump. You might remember the story about how I got into theater or how I messed up in church. You might forget a lot of things. If I ask you tomorrow what is ethos, this happens. Next week, when students come for the first day of the class and I say, Sunil, tell me about ethos. Then Sunil will say, sir, I remember that word. I heard it somewhere, but I can't remember what it is. But you will remember the stories. Clear? And because stories are what gets your attention. Makes sense? And you'll remember the most important message put across by that story. If you all think about the politician joke, you all will always remember that if I'm delivering a speech, I need to tell a story because I need to become more like a politician. Don't become more like politicians. Just get what is good and leave the rest. All right. Then you can crack jokes. This is high risk. High risk. Because if you crack a joke and nobody laughs, especially now, online, it doesn't matter as much. Online, you can only see 5 faces out of 200 because that's all you can see. I have to keep scrolling to look at the other faces. So it doesn't affect you as much. Physically, when you crack a joke and people don't laugh, that's the worst experience you could ever have. Right? When I used to do theater, and especially when we do comedies, we are very scared because as much as we enjoy it, If the audience doesn't laugh, that's it. All that hype, all that excitement just drops. And all the enthusiasm you had to do the play just goes down. Thankfully, I've never had an experience like that yet, fingers crossed. But I've seen it happen. I've seen actors get on stage, their jokes don't hit, and visibly the entire play starts to fall apart. Yeah, it's very scary, right? But that being said, if you can deliver a joke well and you get the audience to react, you get them to laugh, there is no better feeling than that. Because now you know, okay, I made a joke, the audience laughed, I have them. Now I can keep on talking and they will listen to what I'm saying. Right? People love to be entertained. People love it when someone comes and cracks a joke. When people tell them stories, they love it. And if you can crack a joke successfully, you have captured the attention of the audience instantly. All right. Questions are another great way to grab the attention of the audience. Rhetorical questions are questions that don't require an answer. They are questions that get people to think. You could also ask direct questions like I did. I got you to comment yes in the chat box. Now that got you engaged. Everyone who was doing something, you had to take that time to drop that message onto the chat box. And I also kept asking you questions throughout, right? I kept asking each individual person questions during the webinar. Why? Because I saw someone yawning. I won't tell who it is, but I asked him a question. Right? Because I don't want him to feel bored. I don't want him to feel left out. I got other people who I thought were interested. They get more engaged. They get happy when you ask them a question. Oh, wow, I'm listening attentively. Now his sir is asking me a question. Now is my time to shine. Right? We're human beings. We have these feelings. No matter who we are, we have these feelings. Right? And when you are starting off your speech, if you can ask people a question, it always gets them to think because it puts you on a pedestal. That means you know something that they do not know. Now they are more interested to know what you know, to bridge that gap. Because our brain is hardwired that when we have a problem, when we have a gap, we need to fill it. When we have a problem, it's very uncomfortable for us, right? We get stressed. We want to know the answer. There are some extremely lazy people that don't want to know the answer. But generally, as human beings, if we have a problem, we want the solution. And so questions are a very safe but effective way to engage your audience right at the start. So introduction, you have quotes, stories, jokes, and questions. All right. Then we go into the body. Guys, the body comes obviously after the introduction or in the greeting. After the greeting. Now, greeting, there is not much to explain. You greet the audience depending on who is there. Then you get into the body. A body of a speech is not the body of a speech if you don't have stories, if you don't have personal experiences that you are bringing in to make your story more engaging. If I kept giving you advice in today's 2-hour webinar without telling you a single story to engage you, you would not be interested. That's the truth. Look at popular teachers in the country. Right? People that are really popular on social media, people that are killing it online in the world. If you look at the best teachers, if you look at the best YouTubers, if you look at the best presenters, they are all great storytellers. I don't know how many of you have heard of this. I think he's a physics master or chemistry teacher called Muthugala sir. He's a bio teacher, right? Dinesh Muthugala, I think his name is. More than him teaching lessons, what is going viral on social media? His stories, right? He gets thousands and thousands and thousands of students. Why? He is probably a very good teacher, right? But at the same time, he's also a great storyteller. I love his content, right? I love following him just to see how great he is at telling stories. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. See, right now, attention is currency. And everyone, doctors, lawyers, everybody is getting on social media. Who is getting popular? The people that tell the best stories. If you can create a personal story for yourself, if you can bring in examples from your own life to facilitate what you are talking about, people are more likely to listen to you. So this is where you build pathos, that emotional connection with the audience. Facts and figures and additional details, what do those do? They bring in your logos. Especially facts and figures, they support your ideas, they support your message, and they show that you're not just talking about imaginary things, you're talking with facts and figures. You're talking about real examples. You're talking about things that have proven statistics. Clear? So pathos, logos. Always, whatever speech you're delivering, whenever you speak in front of an audience, use stories. Even if you don't use facts and figures, it's okay. But you need to tell people a story if you want them to listen to you. Is that clear? Right. Finally, like Ruan said, the conclusion is very simple. Make sure you always summarize the points that you talk about. When I spoke about ethos, pathos, and logos, after every 2 points, I summarized what I said. I said, first we spoke about ethos, then we spoke about pathos. When I finished talking about logos, I said we spoke about ethos, pathos, and logos. So the chances of you forgetting it are low. Now, obviously, you might, but still, at least for that moment, your memory got refreshed. This is what he spoke about at the start. This is what he spoke about after that. Because sometimes when you speak for 20, 30 minutes, it's tough for people to keep track of everything you're saying. So you're doing people a favor by summarizing what you say at the end. Right? So you summarize what you say, you give your final thoughts, and you have a powerful closing message. If you can structure your speech in this way, in what way? First, you have an introduction. You could start off with a quote, a joke, an anecdote, a question. Then you go into your body. In your body, I told you, always tell a story. Always tell a story. Support it with facts and figures. And you conclude your speech with a strong concluding line. Now you have a powerful speech. All right. Imagine, think to yourself, all right. You said at the beginning that you are nervous. You said at the beginning that you are anxious, you're shy. If you were able to walk up in front of hundreds or thousands of people and speak without any fear at all, what would that do to your career? What new doors would that open for you? This is not a rhetorical question. This is a direct question. Drop a message onto the chat box. How will this change your career? What will this do for your lives? What will this do? Will this make you earn more money? Will this make your personality shine brighter? Will this make you more confident? Will this make you someone says personality? Very good. Get more opportunities? Absolutely. I'll be a famous teacher? Absolutely. People will remember me. Great. Personality at the best level. Guys, I love it. When you build up your confidence, and public speaking is all about building confidence. If you are not scared to speak in front of a crowd, I was speaking to a fitness trainer today at my gym. It might not look like I gym because I'm slightly overweight, but I do go to the gym. And I was speaking to one of the trainers there, and fantastic English. He speaks Tamil and Sinhala, right? And he's a boxer, he's a Muay Thai fighter, and he's a personal fitness trainer. He is scared to post his content on social media. And I asked him why. I said, your English is fantastic. You obviously know what you're doing, because he's fought professionally and all that as well. And he said, I'm scared of what people might say. I'm scared of what people will comment. I'm scared if people will contradict my ideas. And because of that, he's missing out on so many opportunities. He can't expand his client base because he's not getting on social media. He can't increase his prices because he's not getting on social media. He's afraid to speak. If he got in front of a camera and started posting content, let's say he was earning 1,000 rupees today. If he started getting a bigger clientele in, he can easily triple that, quadruple that, 10 times, tenfold that. But he's scared. If you are in that position, you need to ask yourself, what opportunities am I losing out because I am afraid to speak? I told him to join this webinar. I don't think he's here, unfortunately. My friend, if you're here, you can drop me a message. I can't see you in this sea of people. Hopefully he did. All right, hopefully he did. Okay, I'm going to highlight to you the 5 major mistakes that are keeping you from becoming a confident speaker. If you can fix these 5 mistakes with or without my help, I guarantee you can become a confident speaker. Number 1, you worry about other people's opinions. This is exactly the example that I gave you. Is this you? Drop a yes in the chat box if you are scared of other people's opinions. Guys, when I post on social media, when I post on YouTube, we have videos that go viral. And do you know how many people say negative things? And I don't even say anything contradictory. All I do is I teach people, I motivate people, I tell people you need to speak better. And do you know how many people say negative things? Now, if I worried about what those people have to say about me, I'll never be doing this webinar. I'll never be running a business. I'll never be working in a company because I'm scared of what people will say about me. This is a mentality shift. Most of you here today can speak English very well. Everyone I spoke to me in English. All of you here, all the students that come to my classes, none of them are people who can't speak English. All of them can speak English. So what is their problem? This is their problem. That personal fitness trainer's problem is their problem. They worry too much about what other people have to say. Will he laugh at me? Will she make fun of me? Will she go home and tell about me to her entire family? Right? That is what you're worried about. The moment you make that mentality shift, your entire perspective, your entire life is going to be transformed. When I coached Shenal, one of the only things that I actually did was I just kept motivating him to take up better opportunities. And I kept telling him, hey, do this gig, go and talk, don't be afraid. His first gig, he didn't do such a good job. I said, that's okay, go and do the second one, go and do the third one. Now he's so confident. Now you should see his social media profile. He just talks in English all the time. It's fantastic. The moment you get rid of your fear and you start building confidence. Now, how do you build this confidence? You need to keep practicing. You can listen to motivational quotes all day long. You can listen to motivational videos all day long, but you're not going to build confidence through that. You build confidence by actually practicing what you preach. Right? When I first started teaching, when I first started presenting, I was nervous. I still sometimes feel a bit nervous before coming onto a webinar because I'm going to speak to 200 random people. I don't know any of you. All of you could be judging me. All of you could be going home and saying, hey, there was a mad guy shouting on a webinar. We didn't understand what he said. I don't know what you're going to go home and say today. Right? So I also get nervous. But I keep doing this again and 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 again to a point where I know, I don't really care what anyone thinks. I know I'm giving a very good service. And because of that knowledge in my head, I'm not scared. I'm confident. You will never be confident if you do not practice. That's the bottom line. Nobody can sell you a dream and say, I'll teach you this and you'll be confident. No, I cannot teach you anything that will make you confident. If you do not practice, you'll never be confident. That's the reality, and that is what you need to understand. Clear? So you need to find a place that gives you the chance to practice. Either go to a Toastmasters club, either join our program where we give you the chance to speak, either join some other program, or take up opportunities at your office. Take up opportunities in your community where you get to speak and build up that confidence. Number 2 is a very common mistake. You read instead of speaking. You write out everything you want to say and you go in front of an audience and you read it. Nothing puts people to sleep more than getting up on stage and reading a piece of paper. All right, I don't know how many of you have done that, but don't do it here on out because it puts people to sleep. Even when I'm presenting this, I don't have any speaker notes because I know what I'm going to teach. It's not because I'm winging everything or I'm coming here unprepared. No, I know exactly what I'm going to talk about. I have my slides to show you a visual aid, but I can speak and connect with you without having to read anything. Makes sense? So proper preparation and speech structure is going to give you the ability to speak to an audience as opposed to read to an audience. Makes sense? This is a common one. This is a big one. 99% of people, when they speak, forget about the language, Sinhala, English, whatever it is. They say, So many people have this problem. We call this fillers. When you don't know what to say, you fill it with a sound, saying, I guess, you know. We use these phrases or sounds to fill this gap, and it sounds terrible. How do you get rid of fillers? You need to learn how to pause. When you are speaking, if you know you're going to get stuck, if you know you don't know the right words to say, if you know that you're going to say when you speak, you need to speak a bit slower. And instead of saying you need to pause and then move forward. This is something we teach you in our program where we get you to practice again and again and again so that instead of saying or when you get stuck, you learn how to pause and move forward. This makes you sound a lot more confident, a lot more assertive, a lot more sure about the message that you are trying to put across. The fourth thing is something, again, a lot of people struggle with, which is you speak in the same tone. There is no vocal variation. There is no changing of tone. You talk in the same tone throughout the entire 2 hours and you put people to sleep. When you're speaking, you need to have a variation in your pitch, your power, your pace, your pause, your emphasis, your inflection. All of these are things that you need to learn and implement when you speak. If you speak without energy, if you speak without variation in your tone, you are going to put people to sleep. And I'm assuming all of you are here because you do not want to do that. All right. Finally, bad body language and facial expressions. Imagine I did this entire webinar without once smiling at you, with having this same serious face or this blank face throughout the entire speech. Now, although my voice is coming out, if I don't have any facial expressions and if I'm not using my hands at all, you'll think I'm a bit weird. When you get on stage, your body language matters a lot. Sitting straight or standing straight, using your hands. What do most people do? They hold their hands here. They do this when they speak. They hold it like this. It's I don't even know what to say. People are so scared. This is what they're doing when they speak. They don't know how to use their hands effectively, correctly. All right. And then their face, more often than not, people look very scared. People look afraid when they're on stage, and your face gives it all away. Mastering poise. Mastering poise means mastering good body language, good facial expressions, so that when you get in front of a crowd, you're able to smile, you're able to speak well, speak confidently. Because keep in mind, 75% of the success of your speech depends on your non-verbal communication. That means it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. Again, the best example I can give you are politicians, because what they say makes absolutely no sense, but the way they say it gets people roused up. Right? So if you can fix these 5 mistakes, number 1, you build confidence for yourself. You stop worrying about other people's opinions. Number 2, you learn how to speak instead of read. Number 3, you get rid of your ums. And number 4, you speak with good vocal variations without speaking in the same tone. And finally, if you can learn how to use your body language, your hand gestures, your facial expressions well, there is nothing that can stop you from becoming a great speaker. All right. Okay, so do you believe that you can be a confident speaker if you fix these 5 mistakes that I showed you? Can you say yes on the chat box? Can you say yes on the chat box if you think that if you fix these 5 things, you'll be a confident speaker? Guys, I had a choice today. I could have just done this webinar and I could have just gone off. Or I could have given you, or I can give you, a step-by-step guide. I can hold you from the hand. I can take you every step of the way to ensure that you overcome your fear. You overcome this barrier that you have to being a good public speaker. So is it okay if I spend the next 15 minutes going through a very special offer with you about my 4-month coaching program? Can you say yes in the chat box? I know you're here because you want to go through not just today's training, but the entire 4-month program that we have to offer. Fantastic, guys. I love the comments. I love the yeses. All right. So let me introduce to you our diploma in public speaking. Guys, I guarantee you don't have to wait 4 months. Students are 1 month in, 1.5 months in, before they tell me, sir, I'm seeing such a big improvement in my speaking. I feel so confident. I delivered a presentation. I'm able to speak to my team. So many people give such positive comments about the program without even staying for 4 months. 2 months, 2.5 months in, they have already seen a great improvement. All right. But obviously, we are not just going to stop at 1.5 or 2 months. We are going to keep coaching you for 4 months straight until you're not only a competent speaker, but also a qualified speaker. All right. So this is our content. This is what we are going to cover in the 4 months. So each week we have 1 class. So that is 16 weeks. Next week is when we are going to start. Okay, so we're going to cover an introduction to public speaking and how to structure a speech. Unlike today's class, I'm going to get each and every person to speak in the class. Now, you might be thinking, how is he going to get 200 people or 100 people to speak in the class? I'm not, because I only take in 20 people per class, right? Because in every single class, all of these 16 weeks, I'm going to get everyone to speak in the class, okay? So I'm only taking 20 people. I'm not taking more than that because I want to get each person the opportunity to speak. Next, we talk about how to deliver a social speech. That means at a wedding, at a function, at a party, at any social gathering, how do you deliver a speech? Non-verbal communication. I told you 75% of your delivery depends on your non-verbal communication. How do you fix that? Number 4 is your vocal variations. I told you most people are monotonous. You need to speak with variations. So we fix your pitch, power, pace, pause, emphasis, inflections, everything. Then we talk about how you can overcome fillers. Now, obviously, even in these classes, we are going to touch on this, but we have a separate lesson dedicated just for this. This is something I love. This is something that not a lot of public speaking trainers would do, and that is theatric performances in speaking. I introduce a lot of not theory. I introduce a lot of theater, acting, monologues, poetry, things that will get you very uncomfortable. But trust me, it will help you so much when it comes to your speaking skills. Using visual aids, how to use presentations, how to use objects, how to use any form of visual aid to show your audience what you are saying, right? Much like this PowerPoint presentation that I'm presenting to you now. We're also going to talk about how to face interviews properly, how to speak confidently at any interview. Week 9 is all about breathing. You might be thinking, why is he going to teach us how to breathe? We've been breathing since the day we born. If we didn't know how to breathe, we'd be dead. Right? But when you speak, one of the biggest barriers that people have is that they run out of breath. They don't know the right places to pause. They don't know the right places to create a flow in your speech to capture the attention of the audience. And the main reason for that is because they do not know the proper breathing exercises. When you get on stage and when you feel stressed out and your nerves are hitting you, adrenaline is rushing through your body, you can just do a few simple breathing exercises to calm yourself down, look at the audience, smile, and speak. That is why breathing is such an important skill. We're also going to talk about impromptu speaking techniques, how to think on the spot and deliver a speech without prior preparation. Now, again, this is something we'll touch in the other classes as well. It's not something that I'm going to wait till week 10 to teach you, but I have a separate lesson dedicated for specific impromptu speaking techniques. Week 11 is going to be about clarity of speech. When most people speak, they keep their words inside their mouth. When they get on stage, this is how they talk. They're not going to project their voice. They're not going to articulate their voice. And as a result, no one understands what they're saying. How to build your pronunciation, your articulation, your enunciation, how to bite your words and speak clearly so that people understand what you're saying. How to engage an audience, how to talk to people, how to speak with people during your presentation so that you're not a lecturer teaching students. Instead, you're someone that connects with the students. You're someone who builds a relationship with the students. You're someone who builds a relationship with your team, with your sales team, with your suppliers, with your customers. You're not just someone who speaks to people. You're someone who speaks with people. Week 13, we're going to talk about listening. Communication breaks down a lot because people don't know how to listen well. Listening is such an important skill, and learning how to listen to someone and talk to them based on what that person said is such an important skill. Honestly, communication would not be that hard if people learned to listen, because most of the time we are so eager to jump in with our idea. We are not ready to listen to what the other person has to say. And the more interested we become in the other person, the better chance of effective communication is there to happen. We're also going to talk about professional etiquette and personal branding. I've built a very good personal brand for myself on social media, and some of those techniques I'm going to share with you in this session. Then we're going to have a mock interview practice on week 15. And for those of you that are going to do the diploma exam, we're going to have one final practice on week 16 before you face the exam. Keep in mind, once we pass week 4 or 5, I'm going to give you personal training sessions to prepare for the exam. We're going to take half an hour throughout the week so that you are better prepared, because obviously I can't have each person taking half an hour during the class to sit for the exam and I can't do the entire exam training there. So I'll be taking personal training sessions at no extra cost, by the way, to ensure that you're fully ready for the exam. This is what the exam syllabus looks like. So this is what you will be doing at the exam. Number one, you will be delivering a 6-minute speech of any topic of your choosing. That's the first thing you have to do. Number two, you have to deliver a 4-minute speech on any of these particular topics, either a farewell speech, a vote of thanks, or you would be proposing a toast. Section number 2 would include an impromptu speech of 4 minutes. That means it's like the IELTS cue card, right? You get a topic, you have about 1 minute to prepare, and you have to speak on that topic for 4 minutes. For those of you that are doing IELTS, even if you don't sit for this exam, what you learn in the class will be super valuable. Then you have a sight reading passage to check your reading skills. And finally, you have a discussion about theory with the examiner. Makes sense? This is how your exam structure is going to be. You get a certificate from the International Institute of Mystical Rose. This body is a Pearson assured organization. You also get a certificate that is approved by the Sri Lankan Foreign Ministry. So if you're going abroad, if you want to present this for visa purposes or so on, this is a valid certificate because it's approved by the Foreign Ministry of Sri Lanka. All right. So this is the sample certificate that you get. Okay, so let me tell you the value of the program and what you're going to get. You're going to get 16 live coaching sessions with me. Usually for personal training, I charge 3,500 rupees an hour, but you're getting 2 hours every week with me live. Now you calculate that into 16, that's 112,000 rupees. Am I giving it to you at this price? No. Keep in mind, I'm also taking extra time off my day to give you practice sessions for the exam. I'm also going to give you feedback on every single practice video that you send. Every single one. Not a single student has ever complained that I have not given feedback on their training. All right. So that is something I guarantee. Now, usually diploma qualifications would cost you roughly 200 to 400,000 rupees. That's the going price. But that is not what we're offering you, right? We're going to give you a 16-week program. Sorry. Yes, a 16-week program, which is worth 112,000 rupees. We are also going to give you feedback on every video. Now, if you take that as a monetary cost, roughly about 15,000 rupees, and our diploma qualification, the exam itself, costs 25,000 rupees. Now, altogether, all of this costs about 150,000 rupees minimum. Minimum. All right. Our usual program price is 90,000 rupees, 89,999. That's 90,000 rupees basically, right? But I promised everyone on this webinar that I would give you a discount if you attended today. So for the people that are here, we're giving a very special offer of just 64,900 rupees. And even this we have broken down. The course fee for those of you that do not want to do the exam is only 39,900. The exam fee you only have to pay after you have completed 3 months. You don't have to pay the exam fee if you're not sitting for the exam. That's number one. So exam is optional, right? And you only have to pay it once you have completed 3 months, about a month before you actually sit for the exam, right? The course fee, our Success Academy course fee is 39,900 rupees. If you make this as a one-time payment, it's a lot cost effective for you because our installment payment is 24,900 rupees into 2. All right. So today you pay 24,900 rupees and 1 month from today you pay 24,900 rupees. Okay. So our full program cost again is 39,900 and our 2-month installment is 24,900. The exam payment you can pay at the start of the 4th month. Okay. That means after 3 months are done. Now with this program, I'm also giving you some exclusive bonuses. Number one is that I only take 20 students per class. Guys, I can't emphasize on this enough. Our slots get full, our slots get booked out super fast. All right. Our last webinar, 25 people paid within 24 hours. That means I ended the webinar at 9:30 in the night. By 9:30 p.m. the next day, 25 people had paid. Now I only take 20 people for the batch, so I had to transfer 5 people to the next batch, which is this batch, right? So I actually only have 15 slots available. We had a lot of other people inquiring, asking, trying to pay. We funneled all of them into this webinar. So there's a lot of you here that already know how fast we get booked out, right? So we only have 15 slots available. I only take 20 students for the class for one simple reason. Number one, if I have 20 people, I can guarantee their success because I know I am capable of making you speak 100% without a doubt. I can't do that for 100 people at a time. It's tough. I can't get you to speak because I always preach that you will never get better if you don't practice. And I can't give you the chance to practice if I have 100 people in the class, much like today. It's impossible. Right? But if I only have 20 people, I can get everyone to speak in the class, guaranteed. So it's very easy. Even when I'm allocating individual slots or practice sessions, I only have to allocate slots for 20 people, right? I don't have to allocate slots for 100 people. This is very easy. So that is why I'm only taking 20 students per batch, okay? You also get the chance to be featured on our podcast. So we have a YouTube channel. We're closing in on about 10,000 subscribers now and we're only growing. So you get the chance to be a part of our podcast. You get to come, you get to have a conversation with us. If you have your own YouTube channel, we can collaborate and so on, right? It's number one, it's great for your social media. Number two, it gives you the opportunity to get in front of a platform and speak. And number three, it's going to help you have a conversation with someone physically and also train you to put your face out on social media, right? This is optional, but of course, this is an opportunity that we provide to our students. Number three, and I highlighted this before, you get to be a part of our network. So any gigs that I get, comparing, voiceovers, even to present and so on, if I'm not taking it on, I always pass it down to whoever is interested. So if there is someone that is interested in voiceover gigs, comparing gigs, that want to get into that space, we have that network available. All right. And like I told you, there's a lot of top level people that you can have a conversation with, get to know, and opportunities open up when you know more people. If you're looking to get qualified in this space, if you're looking to get your licentiate, your associate, your fellowship qualifications, we give you discounts for those programs if you are a part of our community. Last but not least, we always have an annual prize giving for our diploma graduates. So this is organized not by the Success Academy, but by the awarding body, which is Mystical Rose. And they hold it at Hilton every year. So you get to attend the graduation ceremony if you sit for the exam and qualify. All right.
Hi, this is Dylan Fernando,
One more
a native Sri
testimonial.
Lankan and currently works as a chief sales officer for one of the blue chip companies right now in US. So before I found this class, speaking confidence is like a dream for me. I cannot speak confidence, I stammer a lot. But when I joined Success Academy and as well as when I worked with Seshan, I felt this confidence, energetic, and as well as he thoroughly taught me how to speak confidently and how to be elegant and as well as confidence in front of people. So with regards to this, what I can say is don't wait until confidence comes to you. You create your confidence and as well as build your future. Stay safe, and I'm one of the living examples right now with regards to the public speaking class of Seshan Dias in Success Academy. Stay safe. See you soon. Bye.
All right. So guys, if you want to register for our classes, this is all you have to do. Take a quick screenshot of this page and send it onto the WhatsApp group. There are 4 WhatsApp groups. I don't know which one you are on. So take a screenshot, send it onto the WhatsApp group that you are in. Because if you are on this webinar, that means you have to be a part of one of our WhatsApp groups. So just take a screenshot of this and send it across on the group. Our student coordinator, Ashay, will reach out to you personally once you have sent this screenshot. All right. So let me remind you what you're getting again. You get 16 live classes with me. You get interview coaching and preparation. You get feedback on every single practice video that you send, every single one. You get personalized attention. You get the opportunity to be featured on the TSA podcast. You get to be a part of our network. You get discounts for future qualifications, and you get to attend our graduation ceremony. Guys, keep in mind, learning how to speak well is not something that you are able to do in a day. It's something that you have to keep practicing over a period of time. And that is exactly the opportunity that we are trying to give you. We are starting our next class on the 5th of November. Now, you need to make the payment and register before the 5th of November. But of course, keep in mind that slots fill out extremely fast. And we have only 15 slots available because 5 have already been taken. So the faster you pay and register, the faster I can guarantee a spot on our next class. All right. So 39,900, that's the one-time payment. Or you could make an installment of 24,900 and register your spot. All right, guys. So if you have any questions, you can ask them now. And while you're doing that, while you're asking the questions, make sure to take a screenshot and send that screenshot on the WhatsApp group. All right. I'm assuming the WhatsApp group, yes, we're getting quite a bit of screenshots here now. Okay, great. So guys, if you're interested, like I said, take a screenshot, send it on the group. If you have any questions, now is the time. I'm all yours. You can either raise your hand or you could drop the question. Sorry, what happened? You can either raise your hand or you could drop the question onto the chat box. Okay, someone says, hi, sir, I'm Shavinka. If I pay today, can you reserve my spot? Absolutely, Shavinka. You can pay today and reserve your spot. We'll be sending the payment details once people have sent the codes. So maybe in about 15 minutes, we will send the payment details on the group. You can pay and reserve your spot. Send the receipt to my student coordinator, Ashay. Don't send it to anyone else. Don't send it on the group. Please send it to my student coordinator, Ashay. He'll drop his number on the WhatsApp group. Someone says, how much is the course fee? It's 39,900 rupees. That is the one-time payment. Or you can make 2 installments of 24,900. If you are sitting for the exam at the start of the 4th month, you can pay 25,000. Class day is Wednesday, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Okay. Usually we go on till about 9:30 p.m. Certain days we go on a bit late. Depends on how the lesson goes on that day. All right. Don't get sleepy. Have your dinner. Come for the class. All right. Anyone, if you want to unmute and ask a question, you can go ahead. Or you can drop it on. Yes.
Sir.
Yes.
Hi, sir. Sir, my name is Shavinka.
Hi, Shavinka. Yes.
Thank you for the session. I joined 10 minutes late, but it was very good. This is not the first time I came to your class. I think the IELTS class was very helpful for me, and you mentioned IELTS. So that's why I'm coming again. I saw that you have a public speaking webinar, and as you know, I think like all what you said was very true, and I also say so many times like and I relate to that so many times. So I just want to know, I don't know whether you answered the question, but if I pay today and reserve, can you reserve my spot?
Absolutely. I saw your comment on the chat box. If you pay today, I can definitely reserve your spot because like I said, spots get filled out fast. And even last time, 24 hours after the webinar, all the slots got filled. But the faster you pay, the faster I can reserve your spot. Absolutely. So
Yeah,
that's the question.
I was unlucky last time. So because there were so many people who joined the webinar, and then they joined the program. So I spoke to Ashin, and unfortunately, you could not put me into the webinar. So that's why I was wanting to pay today itself, sir. Also, sir, one more thing. I saw, I think one of my friends who joined in the last webinar, his name is Adrian. He joined, and I think he mentioned that there was some feedback from you guys posted on social media. I think it was on Instagram. So it's not a question, but I think that like it was very helpful to understand what you guys teach.
Nice. I remember Adrian.
Yeah.
He's a good student of mine. Nice. So I'm sorry you missed out on the last session, but hopefully I'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Of course. Hopefully. Yes.
All right. Super.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks, Shavinka. Superb. Any other questions? Okay. Someone says, how much is the course?
Good evening, sir.
Yes. Who is this?
This is Prabha from Colombo, now in India.
Okay. Hi, Prabha. How are you?
Yeah, great, sir. Sir, I have two questions, sir. This is the problem for properly. I don't have English experience. I can't talk experience. I don't know the pronunciation is very difficult. So I like to enter for the public speaking. I am doing the small businessman in the textiles, sir, at the PETA area. Could you say this is the class every 1 week, Wednesday or sir? Any 2 days you are planning this one?
So we have classes only once per week. So every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. That is when we have the class.
Then the next one is exam. That is the online exam, or so that is the physical
exam
exam.
is fully online. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, super. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining, and I hope you got some value. I hope to see you next week.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Definitely, sir.
All right, super.
Hi, Seshan. Good evening. Yeah, I'm Denuan. I'm working as an assistant marketing manager in a company. Now, I want to know that whether we have, if we don't have some kind of a grammar, fluent in grammar, then do you have any plan to correct it, or what's the plan for the grammar and the speaking?
It's like this. We don't teach you grammar specifically. This is not a spoken English program where I focus on grammar and teach you grammatical structures and so on. If I notice that you're making certain grammatical mistakes, I'll point it out in the class. But here's the thing, okay? When you have to speak in front of a crowd, when you have to speak with people, people are not going to judge you a lot based on whether the grammatical mistakes you're making are going to affect you. No. What people want to see is how confidently you can speak with them. Now, if you're a marketing manager, you probably handle social media and you probably speak to clients and so on. You know that your grammar is not going to play a huge part when you're communicating with people. As long as you can speak confidently in a way that people understand what you're saying, that's what we are looking to achieve. So the answer to your question is no, I'm not teaching grammar in the class, but yes, if you do make certain grammatical mistakes, I'll point it out and help you improve. The main thing is I get you to speak in the class, and as a result of that, you're going to improve your fluency. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. Clear.
All right. Superb. Okay. Anyone else? Any other questions? Let me check the chat
Hi,
box.
sir. I'm Shukra Nihar here. I just want to know if this class is physical or online, please.
This class is online, so it's a Zoom class every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
Hello, sir.
Hello, yes.
When is the next batch? Because I have an exam on these days, that's why.
You have an exam on this day, as in on the 5th, is it?
Yes, sir. When is the next batch?
Okay, so just because you missed the first class, it's not going to affect you as much because every Wednesday we have classes for 16 weeks. Next batch, I am not entirely sure because right now I'm doing classes all 5 days. Wednesday is my only free day, and we're starting a new batch from next week. So I don't know yet when we are going to have our next class. But so if you only have your exam on the 5th of November, We will obviously be sending you the recording of that class and you can join from the next day onwards. I think that's the 12th. Make sense?
Okay, sir.
Hello.
So you can join this batch. We'll send you the recording for the first class and you
Okay.
can join from the next class onwards. Yes?
Okay, yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
All right, super. Super. Guys, any other questions?
I am Mubarak here.
Yes, Mubarak. How are you?
Yeah, fine. Thing is this, my English is very poor, I think. If I join this one, can I manage to carry this good speaker? What
Okay,
you
let me
advise
ask you
for
a
me?
question. Prabha, can I see your
What
face?
is your
I can see your
what
face.
is your what is your advice for me? That one. My
Prabha, are
English
you
is
able to
very
switch on your camera? I don't see you.
really this is the
Okay. I don't see your face, but that's okay. Let me tell you, don't say your English is not good because obviously you were here throughout the entirety of this webinar. Did you understand what I said? Were there parts that were not clear to you? Were there parts that you simply did not get what I said? Or did you understand what I was teaching? Prabha, are you there? Right, I think he got disconnected. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, guys, any other questions? Someone says, sir, I understand English well, but I can speak 60 out of 100. Is that enough? Okay, this is a similar question to Prabha. So I'll answer this question. Guys, it doesn't, the fact that you are telling yourself that you can't speak English is a lie. Because obviously, if you stayed for the entirety of this webinar and you understood what I was saying, plus you're able to speak 60% in English. Now, that's what this person has said. That's good enough because all you need to do is build up your fluency. See, we have this notion in our head that if we are unable to pair up all the grammatical structures properly, and if we make one single mistake, people are going to laugh at us. People are going to ridicule us. People are not going to take us seriously. No. If we are able to build up our fluency to a point that we can speak confidently, not with 100% grammatical accuracy, speak confidently in a way that our message can be understood. That's all that matters. So don't worry about whether your English is at 100% or whether your English is at a 200%. Don't worry about that. This is a lie that you keep telling yourself. This is why I do this webinar entirely in English. This is why I don't speak in Sinhala at all. Because we run a separate spoken English program. Right? There I speak in Sinhala because that is for people who do not understand English at all. That's not a class that you want to join. Right? Because it's for people who speak in Sinhala. It's for people who I train right from A to Z, from the very beginning. Now, that's not a class for you. If you are at a level where you can speak in English, you can understand English, public speaking is the class that you should be joining because this is where you'll get to do more advanced activities. You'll get to speak, you'll get to do poetry, you'll get to do monologues, you'll get to do acting. You'll do things you're very uncomfortable doing. And by doing those things, you're going to become a more confident personality that can speak with anyone without any fear. That's my guarantee to you. I'm not saying I'm going to fix your grammar 100%. I'm not going to do that in this class. No. What I guarantee that I will do is I'm going to get rid of your fear of speaking in front of people. That's my guarantee. Make sense? So it doesn't matter whether you're at a 40% or 60% or 80% of an English speaker. Whatever level you're at, provided you can understand what I'm saying and you can communicate in English, I will get rid of your fear of speaking in front of a crowd. Make sense? Someone says, is it an online class? Yes, it is an online class. Okay, someone says, sir, I want to join the class. Okay, so I think the payment details will be put onto the group very soon. I see a lot of screenshots have come in. That is fantastic. So as you can see, there's a lot of screenshots. We have 4 groups and each group is getting filled. All right. So we can only take 15 people. So the faster you pay and join, the faster I can reserve the spot for next week. Someone says, won't you do physical classes? Guys, we don't offer the diploma as a physical class. What we are planning on doing, and we haven't implemented this yet, we are planning to have physical classes so that people can come and practice year around, right? Now, I get people to the online class because this is where I train people for the diploma, and the exam is online as well. But I want to start more of a casual speaking club where people can come and speak year round. But this is not something we have implemented yet. I am still contemplating whether to do it or not. It depends on the demand, but not yet. That's my answer. Won't you do physical classes? Not yet. That's the answer I can give you. So no guarantees there. All right. Someone says it was a super class. Thank you so much. Someone says,
The course.
sir, thank you. All right.
Hello,
Someone
sir.
says, okay, 40 plus 25. Yes, correct. So 39,900 for the program, 25,000 if you are doing the exam. Okay. All right. Super.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
The exams are physical or online?
The exam is online. The exam is online.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, super. All right, guys. So I think with that, we are done with the webinar today. Thank you so much to everyone that joined. I really appreciate you being a part of this webinar today. I enjoyed talking to you. Thank you to everyone that unmuted and had a conversation with me. I love speaking to people. I really dislike when the camera is switched off.
Thank you, sir.
Like I'm speaking to a blank screen. So to everyone that unmuted and had a conversation, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. So whoever sent the screenshots, make sure that you pay, you sign up so that we can have more conversations and we can start this journey of being a great public speaker at the end of these 4 months. All right. Thank you so much, guys. If you can, do me a favor. Let me know what your thoughts are about this webinar on the WhatsApp group. I would love to know what your feedback is, whether you thought it was good, whether you thought it was bad, whether you thought it could improve. I don't know. Whatever your feedback is, it would do me a lot of good if you can drop me that feedback, because if what I'm doing is not good, I know where I can improve. If it was good, then I know that I can keep doing more and more of it. All right. So it would be greatly appreciated if you can take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and drop me a quick message on the WhatsApp group as to what your feedback was on this session. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for your time. I look
Thank
forward
you,
to
sir.
seeing you
Thank you
all
so much.
next week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much,
very
sir.
much,
Thank you
sir.
very
It
much.
was very
Great,
interesting,
sir. Super.
Super, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank
It
you
was
very
very
much, sir.
interesting, sir.
Good night, sir.
Sir.
Thank you very much,
Thanks a
sir.
lot, sir.
Right. See you, everyone.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.